The Cecil Hotel always had a way of collecting people, those who'd wandered too far from home, those with nowhere else to go, those fleeing something, and those pursuing something else entirely. Maylene was neither fleeing nor pursuing. She was simply passing through, a 21-year-old traveler from Vancouver with a camera full of tourist photos and a journal filled with observations about American culture. She didn't know that the Cecil had other names among locals: the Suicide, the Halfway House. Some even called it the Night Stalker, after one of its infamous former residents. "Just 4 nights," she told the desk clerk, sliding her credit card across the scratched countertop. "Then I'm heading south." The clerk barely looked up. "Room 506, elevators to your right." The elevator. If she had known then what that small metal box would come to mean, perhaps she would have taken the stairs. On the 3rd night, Maylene couldn't sleep. The walls of the Cecil seemed to breathe, contracting and expanding with the weight of decades. The pipes knocked. Voices filtered through the vents, sometimes laughter, sometimes arguments, sometimes just disembodied whispers that might have been the building itself. At 2 a.m., she decided to explore. Just the hallways, just to walk off her insomnia. The elevator doors opened with a reluctant groan. Inside, the buttons glowed like jaundiced eyes. She pressed L for lobby. The doors remained open. She pressed it again. Nothing. She pressed other buttons. Random floors, door closed, door open, in increasingly frantic patterns. The lights flickered overhead, and that's when she felt it. A drop in temperature, a heaviness in the air, the sensation of being watched. She turned around, gesturing frantically at nothing, as if arguing with an invisible presence. Her hands moved with jerky, unnatural motions. She stepped out of the elevator, peered down the hallway, then quickly back in, pressing herself against the wall. The doors remained stubbornly open. A moment later, she was gone. "Water pressure's been low for days," the maintenance man told the manager. "Guests are complaining about the taste, too." "Check the tanks," the manager said without looking up from his paperwork. "Probably sediment again." The maintenance man climbed the service stairs to the roof. The lock on the access door had been broken for months. Budget cuts meant non-essential repairs were postponed indefinitely. The water tanks stood like sentinels against the Los Angeles skyline, 4 cylindrical monuments to the building's antiquated plumbing system. He noticed the hatch on one was open. Later, he would tell the police he knew something was wrong before he even looked inside. "There was a feeling in the air," he said, "like electricity before a storm." When they finally drained the tank, they found Maylene floating face up, her eyes open to the darkness that had engulfed her. Her clothes billowed around her like black seaweed. Her skin, bleached by chlorine and death, had taken on the translucent quality of a deep-sea creature. For 2 weeks, while the search for the missing tourist had intensified, the Cecil's guests had been showering, brushing their teeth, and drinking the water in which she decomposed. The elevator footage went viral within hours. Internet sleuths dissected every frame, every gesture, every shadow. They enhanced the video, slowed it down, reversed it, searching for clues in the static and grain. Theories multiplied. She was having a psychotic episode. She was playing a Korean elevator game that summoned spirits. She was running from an attacker. She was possessed. She was communicating in code. But theories couldn't explain how she accessed the water tank, secured from the inside. Couldn't explain why none of her belongings were disturbed. Couldn't explain why the toxicology report showed no drugs, no alcohol, nothing that would account for her behavior. The Cecil absorbed her story as it had absorbed so many others before her, into its walls, its pipes, its very foundation. One more tragedy in a building constructed from them. And still the elevator doors open and close. Still guests check in, unaware they're drinking from the reservoir of the Cecil's dark history. Still the cameras watch, recording moments that defy explanation, waiting for the next visitor who might wander too far from the light.